Hey guys, welcome back to Dmac Kustoms on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. My drive shaft has been constructed, not by me. It's been done by someone who knows what they're doing when it comes to building drive shafts, and just got that back during the week. And although my plan was to do the front windscreen this week, that hasn't quite panned out. That'll come later. We got to do some homework on that. So this week we're going to look at what changes I need to make to put this new designed drive shaft into the Area 51. Okay, so usual story. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you may recall what was that noise? Someone doing something. Anyway, you may recall when I had the body off the chassis and the chassis was kind of like the air and stuff. I did heaps of messing around with pinion angles and all that kind of stuff, and I had a mock-up kind of drive shaft with, you know, just kind of tacked together and stuff like that. Well, after I figured all that out and did all of that, I made a change of design plan. So I was talking to a mate, and I was telling him how the Commodore Holden center bearing that I was using on my mock-up, it kind of flexed a bit, and they're notorious for tearing the guts out of them, those center bearings anyway. So he suggested Ford Ranger or Mazda BT50 because they have this slip joint permanently built into them. And so tracked one of them down through Carl at Bunny's garage. He hooked me up with this main drive shaft, and then I still used all my dimensions, but I took it to my man Pom, and he put my ends on a new U-joint in the back there and put the ends on the front here, and he had to pull it all apart to do all of that and weld it all up and all the, whatever they do to them, balancing and doohickying and stuff. But my center bearing on this new setup is considerably bigger, and my mount on my old setup now all has to change, and I will have to do all that laying on my back under the 51. So I've got to get this thing a little bit higher. I can get it up a bit higher just by bringing the bags up. I'll bring them up, kind of extend them out just to get the rear end up a bit higher. I could also jack it up higher and whatnot, but I need to at least have it at its ride height when I start setting up. Well, yeah, I kind of do. I should, yeah, have it at its ride height with weight on it when I am setting up the, you know, final placement of the new center bearing. If that makes sense. It shouldn't matter too much because of this style is basically a straight shot from the transmission. It's not on a UJ, it's on a donut. Yeah. But anyway, we'll get the compressor fired up so I can raise the back of that up, and then we can get under there and have a look, see what's got to be done. Alright, so some air in the back. What was that noise? What I should do is I might just give it a little bit to the front as well. Alright, so that gives us a bit more wiggle room under there. Just do a bit of a shake test, make sure it's not going to fall on me. Yeah. Yep, right. Okay, so let's have a look underneath. So I'll just do a quick measure on here. From the seal, we're looking about 620 to the back of the center bearing, about 600 to the hose reel's going to run away in a minute. So from the seal we're looking, yeah, about 620, so about 630 to the back of the bearing mount, and then we're looking about 610 to the centre of the hole. Can do its thing. So I'll get under here and have a look. So what did they say? 6. I'll just double check. Right, let's get down and under here and have a look. So this is the old kind of mount for the centre bearing. It's kind of acts as a bit of a drive shaft loop as well. We have to have multiple, well, because it's a 2-piece shaft, I have to have 2 drive shaft loops. So here's another one that goes here. So let's have a look. Measuring from, I'll measure from the seal. Yep. So 630 pretty much takes us right back to here. So I need to cut off all of this hole from here forward, and then I can we should be able to bring in the drive shaft and get it kind of placed up here, plug it in, and then see what we need to remake to get it all to sit level and correct and all that kind of stuff. But while I'm under here, I might as well take this out. And then we've got, I think I measured the width between the holes was 180. So yeah, that's kind of to the outside of those two there. So I'm going to have to find a way to attach something again to this, but we'll worry about that when we get that far. Oh, dropping stuff already. Right. Whoop. It's my windscreen template blowing off the roof of the car. The wind's supposed to pick up, be pretty heavy this afternoon. So what's next? I guess get in here with a zip disc and cut those tabs off. Put that away. It's creeping me out, making noises and stuff like that. Right, what do I want? Zip disc. Need something to protect paint under there with, a piece of cardboard or something. Alright, just got to rule a line to follow. Eyeball it a bit. Alright, hopefully that's all good. Let's go. There. Right, let's do some cutting. Okay, so butchered that out, kind of. It'll clean up alright. I just went and measured the diameter of that centre bearing and it's 140 millimeters. So I'm going to cut along this line here that I've marked right through to the inside bit there, and on both sides. I'll probably end up trimming this back as well because I think the new bolt hole is going to end up back around here as well, so we will end up taking this back a bit more just for aesthetics, or cut it off on some kind of angle. It's just tricky, try not to cut through the floor. What I'm thinking though is actually I was going to cut this off, but I might actually leave it and you know, grind this down flush. Once I've trimmed this extra bit out, probably kind of grind, you know, clean it all up, the roll lock and flap disc and stuff like that, and then we'll, you know, fill this end again, and then maybe put a piece of 1/8 inch sort of thing that'll come in and fill here. We'll grind it flush and sort of weld it all and make it hopefully look alright. I managed to dig in there a wee bit, but it should be alright. Might have to kind of give that a bit of a weldy weld as well. But yeah, I'll just cut these bits out. Okay, so got all that cut out. Next up on the agenda, I guess, is just jam it up in the hole and see how it fits, whether it fits. If it fits, then yeah, we can see what we got to do to kind of clean her all up and close up those holes. Man, killing the battery on this. But I've got to take the nuts and bolts out of the diff. Pinion, the diff, yeah, that thing, the round thing that goes. Yoke? Pinion yoke? I think it's the yoke. This thing. Oh yeah, the finger tight, it's good. Brought some spanners, I think they're 13 and 14 millimeters from memory. I'll just check that actually. No, 14 for there. We should get in a bit winding. Ah, it might be 15, 14 and 15. Okay, I need to go and get a 15 mil. There we go. It's just a little snug. Oh, of course it fell way over there. Why do they always go just out of reach? Still got kitty litter all over the floor. Shit. Okay, so hurdle. I'm gonna have to take the donut off to get it in. What a hassle. Is there any other way I can do this? No. Take the motor out? Yeah. No. There's definitely no way. No. Let's have a look, see at that anyway. Yeah. Okay, yeah, definitely have to take the donut off the front, get the front in, so I need some more tools. 21. Right. Record it. Ah, wrong size. So I can't put that in until I've got this up and that thing up in place. There. So I need to get that under there. This is incredibly difficult. Yeah. Oh, it is as high as it goes. Oh, you bugger. Oh, okay. Don't be like that. Oh, is it still gonna give me grief, is it? Oh, you bugger. Yep. No, it's still not gonna work. Oh. Right, okay. Now, I need some more upwards. Need some woods. Nearly. Okay, I need to drop that down. Scotch. Too far now. Uh-oh. Okay. Why is that not going in? Okay, so hopefully it's not getting too windy. The wind's picking up and blowing all dust and shit in my eyes under here. I bolted those in properly, not just had it kind of hanging there. Yeah, I'm gonna drill some holes into that. Those things there. I'll have to move the jack and mark that. That's not bolted up down the back. It's just because this is kind of sprung. It's kind of holding itself up there, you know, so it's not bolted in, it's just sitting there, but it is, this is all bolted in tight, so I just wanted to see what it was like once it was bolted in. The only thing I'm worried about is that, you know, is that deflection too much for this rubber donut style thingy jig? But anyway, enough jibber jabber. I'm going to move this jack, that one, and mark my holes for mounting that, so I can actually just bolt it up and not have a jack in the way, because that would be
really handy if it was out of the way, and then I can hang my exhaust hangers and stuff in that again, and hopefully that works. Got that centered. Pretty sure she's straight. She looks pretty good. Drill a pilot hole. Yeah, get me some cutting stuff. Okay, one down. Some more cutting stuff. Get showered in this. Right, change bits. Oh, wrong way. Alright, so slight change of plan. Of course, I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to tap it so I can just put a bolt through, because I've got plenty of thickness here. I've got like 1/4 inch, I think maybe just under 5mm, that I can just run a tap into that. Oh, this is in the way now, my jack and stuff. Okay, there's one. I'll get a bolt in that so I can use it to hold it up. Right, bolt. What do I do with them? There we go. Long enough? Oh, not really. A little on the short side, but it'll hold it for now. There we go. Oh. Okay. Right, I don't tap the other side. Find all my bits. Alright, so now bolt. I need longer stuff actually. Maybe some big washers. Yeah, one of those and some big washers, I reckon. Right, just go and get some stuff. Okay, so got some. Oh, that's the wrong size socket. Got me halfway there. Well, that's alright. Let's take this one back out. Yeah, it was way too short. Okay, so you might notice this thing. This is a Tool Pro electric ratchet that I bought from Super Cheap Auto for the measly sum of $140. Got sick of waiting for someone to buy me a Milwaukee one. It just wasn't going to happen, so I bought my own. Squeak, squeak, squeak. So that's kind of the concept there. That can be slid back obviously, so now that I've kind of got all that all bolted in and worked out and stuff, I've got to kind of pull it all out again and do something with these. But if I you know, make a end cap folded piece sort of thing that is sort of attached to this tab as well. I don't even think I'll bother trimming those down now, actually. I see them like that. And then I can, got my pencil handy, I might just mark where that sits on those. I'm probably not going to be able to see that one, but I'll mark them anyway just to give me an idea of how far I can go out. Yeah, right, now that that's all in there, I've got to take it all out again, Joyce, and maybe have a bit of a, I've got bits of metal in my hair now, cool, drilling shavings, digging into the back of my head, ow. Yeah, right, okay, I mean that turns fine. I don't feel any kind of snatching or binding. We're roughly at ride height actually, so I wonder if I should oh no, the pinion angle's still with that Diffie. I don't know where that's sitting at the moment. That's probably, I can't remember, it might be alright. Don't know whether that needs to be adjusted off the forelink. I can't remember what I did with it when I had the, you know, put it all together on the chassis. I'm pretty sure I did, but it was with the old drive shaft assembly setup stuff, so it could be a bit out. I might do some measuring actually and just have a look-see. Okay, so just did some like measuring for that pinion angle. I'm not sure where my ride height's at, so I'm going to do that diff pinion when I've got the air ride set up and I've established my ride height properly. Then I can kind of get it up and work out, you know, on stands with the correct air pressure and that in it. At the moment it's a bit hard to tell with it up in the air whether I'm at my ride height and stuff. So once I've got that established a bit better, I'll then steal all through my hair. I'll then be able to adjust the forelink and that to get the diff pinion angle. At the moment it's sitting at about 3, yeah, it's about 3 degrees out, I think. Like I leveled off from the front drive shaft and then measured, you know, squared off, so zeroed out at the front drive shaft and then kind of went to the yoke thing, the thing that the drive shaft bolts onto on the diff. I can't, it's the yoke, I'm blanking out on that. We'll wait until, like I said, we'll wait until we get that stuff sorted and then we can figure that out a bit better. We should be able to adjust it into where we need it to be, close enough anyway. So I'm going to put some stuff away that I don't need now and maybe blow all that metal filings out from under the car and then yeah, then we'll pull this thing back out and then see how we can kind of clean up and brace up those tabs. I don't think they really need bracing up, I think they're alright, but we'll have a look anyway. Okay, so managed to lose a drill bit somewhere along the way, a little 4.5 miller. That's the one I used for the pilot. I don't know. This little unit seems to be kind of okay. Yeah, for the money. I've never used a Milwaukee one, so I don't know how much better they are, but seems to be alright. Got a piece of already pre-bent steel here, which I'm going to endeavour to kind of chop up and modify and kind of make work for filling in those end bits. A bit on the heavy side, but that's kind of intentional, kind of acting as a little bit more of a brace, you know what I'm saying. So let's get up under here, you fellas up on that part of the cross member. So Try not to be looking at my nose or something. Anyway, so this is what I'm thinking, is like putting this in here. So when I cut it, I was cutting it, I cut through there, so I'm gonna have to weld those up before I do anything anyway, or at least put something. Maybe I could get them from the top, couple of zaps. But what I'm thinking of doing is setting these kind of down into this, so I'll cut them kind of undersized and then bevel them before I weld them, so I can kind of weld them, get a good weld, and then flush them out so they're kind of squared off quite nicely, if that makes sense. So what I'm got to do is cut that off there, and then cut that straight through there, and then get my measuring device. I'll cut them both into, what's that inside measure, to get a better look at it, for 20mm on the inside. Check the other one. Yep. So I'll cut them 20, even, yeah, a little bit less, 19 something, and then we can do that final step notch out of there when we get that far. Okay, so mark this. I've got quite a good sort of straight edge on that, so I'll just mark that, try to. Cut that down that way. I'll cut those off first, and then I'll mark my two 20mm that way. Battery. Safety. Alright, so I scribe. Ow, this is still really hot. And I've got, just wait for that to cool down. I could put gloves on. Okay, so cut it to this side of the line. So back under here, just gotta see how these are fitting up. Okay, so I need to trim that off and around that corner. Oh, I don't need to around that corner. Once that's just in there, it'll be all good. Yeah, that's actually pretty good there. Yeah, that one's all good. This one's just a bit too tall. Will it fit that way? Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's the plan. But what I'm thinking of doing is beveling them. So I might mark that. See, I'm going to cut it back. So cut that out of there. So back to there, cut that one out there, back to there, take that out, and then trim this one down to that one. Yeah, that trim that one, and then they should in theory fit. So that's my Right. Right.
It's gonna just stitch up those little cuts underneath, but I'm getting a lot of wind coming through under the car. It'll blow my gas away. So I'm just going to drop the doors down and then we'll do it. Okay, this might be an indication of how this is going to go. Bit more wire speed, I think. Okay, a lot of crap come out of that first one. Okay, don't look too close. That's about it as far as the kind of finishing that back goes. Oh god, what a miss. What's that saying about welders and grinders? A grinder makes me the welder that I aim to or something. But yeah, a bit rusty on the old welding. Crikey, I think might have had a bit of rusty wire as well when it first started. Heaps of gas flow and stuff, but I was getting a lot of porosity. And I've had that before when I haven't used the old MIG for ages. We live near the coast, so we get kind of a lot of salt here, and the first kind of few meters of MIG wire kind of gets a bit spotty with a bit of corrosion, so you've got to kind of run it through. But yeah, it's done. So it's, you know, filled up all those holes. There's still a few low spots, and I could go in there with finer roll locks and stuff like that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to spray some rattle can black around there and call her done. So I've got to see what I've got in the way of rattle can. I think I've still got some of that satin that I used on the old chassis and stuff. Let's have a look. Oh, I don't know. I don't know that I do. White lacquer might stand out a bit. Some gloss black, some satin and rust killer. It's quite good stuff. That it's more of an enamel. What's that? Rust fix. Might have to be some of this. I think I thought I had some of that same stuff I used on there. Obviously not. Well, this is the stuff's going to be. This might be a I'll show you when I'm done kind of job, because it's going to be, I'm going to have to use bits of cardboard and to mask and things like that.
Okay, so got some satin on there. It's still glossy because it's drying, and I'm going to leave that for tonight because I'm going to go out a few hours, so I've got to get cleaned up, get organised, you know, make myself look pretty. Missed, first time ever. And yeah, and then hopefully tomorrow we can bolt this drive shaft in, and that'll be the drive shaft in. And yeah, another task ticked off the list. So anyway, I'm going to do a bit of a clean up, well, put some stuff away, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty, so we've pretty much got the drive shaft back in. It is the next day. Now I just can't get that bolt in. I wonder if I need to pull it back somehow. Yeah. I do recall having this issue before, actually. Ah, damn it. Yeah. Got one of them. Yeah, might have to drop that centre bearing down just a scotch, just to give me a bit of room to pull this back to be able to swivel the UJ to get these in. Okay, where's that last one? I lost it. That might have to go up. Yeah. There we go. Right. Alrighty, so that's that bolted up there. Now I've just got to tighten that back up again. Centre it up, tighten it. Should be good. Still got to do my drive shaft loops. That one there, and then this one here. And I'm not sure if I've got enough bolts to do them both actually. Might have to buy some more. I think they were 10mm. They have to be for certification. But I'll just get this tightened back up and I'll go and have a look. Okay, so should have enough bolts. There's just one in particular that I've used for something before, and the thread's a bit, it's not rooted, I'm just giving it a bit of a clean up. Just tried to run a nut down it, and it was a bit on the ugly side, so there's a bit of damage to it, me probably forcing it in somewhere that wasn't supposed to go. It's also painted black on the head, so I don't know what I used it for, but I used it for something. There's a nut. Should be all good now. Yeah, it didn't take much, it just needed a little bit of a clean up. I'll grab the wire wheel and clean that paint off while I'm at it. Using these things, always wear these things, because these little things come flying out and stick into everything. Just like that. I was lucky I was going to drop it then. Up here for the last number of months. It's part of me drive shaft loop. I hope they allow it to be a welded one like that, but I don't see why not. Right, get under there, bolt these up, hopefully. At least get a couple of bolts in each of them for now. And then that's the drive shaft installed, I think. Hopefully
And then I need diff oil. I've got to check the engine oil.
Ah, yeah. It's going to be too long. I need some shorter ones. That's right, I'll get it started. When I originally built this, I thought, you know what I should do? I should put welded captive nuts on the back, make it easier later on. For some reason I didn't. Now I'm wishing I had. But yeah, where's that washer gone? So I'm definitely gonna need some more bolts for this. The other side, the other one will be alright. Come on, get in there, you barmaid. There we go. I have got those little, they're only grade 5 though, those little gold ones. Yeah, I have to just get some new little shorties, I guess. There's no way I could get that through from the top, that nut, bolt. Try. I'm sure I had bolts for this before, but I've probably used them on something else. Give this a shot actually, let's see if I can get it in from the top. Nah, not a shit show, man. Not a shit show. Right, next one. So I wonder if I should do them up the other way. That way I haven't got these bolts hanging down. Catch me on the melon. That one, that's better. Tell you, this thing is actually quite good. I don't know why I was holding out for a Milwaukee one. Because I've seen all the American YouTubers using them, but this little unit here for 100. I'm not sponsored in any way, but this little unit here owed me about $140. So I had to buy the skin, then a battery and a charger, and yeah, got little indicator lights, forward and backwards. It's like variable speed. You can go slow. You go fast. I don't know how many Newton meters of torque it's got, but it's a 12 amp hour, like 12 volt, 4 amp hour battery. So pretty good to me. 140 bucks. Okay, so that I got short bolts in there. I realised I had zip disc and stuff, so I just cut a couple of the long bolts down to the right length, and they fit in there just perfect. And so that's my drive shaft and all my safety loops and stuff in. Still got to do a pinion rechecking for the rear end and whatnot, but for now it's sort of, it will roll and do what it's got to do. Next up, chuck some oil in the diff before I forget. I've got the oil as well, so and I can take my little no oil sticker off the diff, and then that's good. Okay, so just got to chuck some oil in the differential, and easiest access for me without laying on my back is from up here, right there. So now I've got to pull that plug. Okay, I might have to move you fellas out the way, so try and get this off. Crikey, might need some assistance. Oh, come on, don't tear on me. Okay, she's spinning. Oh, gotcha. God, what a mission. Got some Pro Gear Penrite. I've used this before. Sets for differentials including limited slip. Now I've used that
that's what's in the truck, and I've used it in my old SS Commodore when the diff started kind of like getting real weird and snatchy, so I changed the diff oil and made a huge difference, and this is the stuff I use.
No additives, it's already in there. Get me a rag and they're ready. Using a funnel because this bottle had a split. She's already leaking. Choice. Try again. Just take it slow. Need the other bottle. I thought I would. Crikey, where did it all go? Oh, here it comes. Or is that me just pulling it out? Oh yeah, she's right on there. Yeah. Actually, I might just grab a little bit of that. Wipe it around there, try and get this in there a bit easier. Oh god. Oh, there we go. Crikey. That was hard work. And now I can take this off. Been on there for a couple of years, isn't it?
All done. I've just checked the engine oil. It was low after doing that, you know, having the sump off last week, the week before, whatever it was. And connected the battery. I'm going to fire this thing up and see if we got any leaks. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. Let's see what she does. What's going on? No crank. What have I done? I did just try neutral. Relays are in there. What's that for? Why am I not getting any crank? What have I been doing in the last few weeks? Wouldn't have knocked the solenoid wire off the starter, would I? I'll have a look. Okay, so as I just pointed out while it was running, there's a little bit of a leak again. It seems to be, well, it looks like it's coming from that filter seal, but it's not as bad as last time. But when I put that filter on the other week, I couldn't really get it super tight by hand, so I just used that thing and just gave it another kind of quarter turn. So hopefully that's it, but yeah, I don't know, it doesn't seem as bad, but
who knows, I don't know why it wasn't cranking, but I just kind of wiggled a wire and it fucking went, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I did try putting it into reverse, wheels didn't turn, handbrake wasn't on. Put it into drive, wheels still didn't turn, so I just checked the fluid and it did seem low. I'm sure there's fluid in that trans. There was a little bit on the end of the dipstick, but not a lot, so I've just put like about 1.5 litres in it just to see what that does, and we'll give it another shot and see whether the wheels will turn. Can't see where it's coming from. It's got me bamboozled, and it is like probably still as bad as it was before. It looks like it's coming from that bloody, yeah, the kind of mount that the what sits on, the filter. Let's have a look, trying to burn ourselves. Everything's crazy hot at the moment. Fans didn't come on. Let's get some light. Yeah, you can see up around the rim where the rubber seal sits. It's very wet there. Doesn't appear to be coming from higher. There's a little bit of wetness on that bolt head in the corner. I mean, I would swear it's that filter, but that's a brand new filter again. Is that shininess? Is that just that Permatex stuff I put on there? Yeah, I think so. Could still be. I don't know. I mean, it looks Yeah, it's wet above that filter, so it's wet right there. I wonder if it is still this housing. I wonder if it's that crappy finish. I mean, it should be right now, but I wonder if it is to do with that, you know, like that metal gasket just maybe not cool, you know. I don't know, maybe I need to try and find one of the O-ring style gaskets for it and try that. But yeah, she's dripping a bit. Oil pressure's good, 60 pounds of oil pressure. The tune's still, yeah, the ECU's still trying to sort itself out and stuff. I think it was kind of like hunting for a bit there. It's like and yeah, that was weird. Wouldn't do that the other week. And then you kind of give it a burst. It's idling really high. I think it's set at about 900. Probably needs to be down about maybe 750 or something. But yeah, the wheels turn, so that's a win. But yeah, just the bloody oil leak. I'm a bit worried about that fan not coming on. The main gauge, I mean, that's saying it's about 200 and I can't even read this gauge. It took me out, what is the highest? 220, so it's about 210, 260 or something. Yeah, so now turn the ignition on and the fan comes on. Yeah, so well, that's what I was messing with the other week, was the fan. I wonder if it didn't have the starter relay hooked up properly or something. I don't know, but there it goes. So so drive lines in, oil leaks, I wouldn't say back, still there. I'll maybe kind of revisit that later. I can't leave it because it's too much of a leak for it to stay the way it is, you know. It will just be dumping copious amounts of oil every time you run it hot, you know, and then it'll just paint the underside of the car. It won't rust under there, it'll be covered in oil. That'd be a good thing. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this video. I think this SD card's getting a bit full, so that must mean I'm coming to like having a lot of shit to edit. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, share, comment, and don't forget we're on Instagram and Facebook, and right here on the YouTube in the garage as always. But yeah, we got a drive line that's connected front to back. It runs kind of weird. It really needs to be kind of driven to see what it's going to do, but I'm a bit worried about that oil leak and the temperature, like that fan's not seeming to kick on while it's running. I don't know what the dealio was with that. I don't know whether there's something I can kind of override with that and change the fan kick on, just get it to come on a little bit earlier in the programming. I probably can. So, but anyway, enough rabble, jabber jabber, enough yakking, and so until next time, take it easy and peace.